Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and welcome to Dreamy Dreamland with your Sensei Bob. And we're not here to tell you a story. So, how y'all doing? There's one person out there. How about chatting me? Say something. So I know what it is. If there's anybody out there that says top chat, I don't know. All the other stuff that usually is there is not there. What is it? Where are you? You're gone. There's nobody there. So, thank you for dropping by, and thank you for everyone who put something in my PayPal. I could really use it. It's that time of month where I don't have that much. So go to PayPal, and when they ask who, the dudeawake42 at Gmail. Dudeawake42 at Gmail. Come on, you guys can get a hold of me personally at the dudeawake42 at Gmail. I'd love to hear from you. So what do you think of what's going on? What's going on? It's 2:30 p.m.
Welcome back, everyone. Jake here. Currently, we're on day 78 of Russia's disastrous invasion of Ukraine, and it's estimated that over 26,000 Russian soldiers have been killed so far. How many exactly? Potentially, we'll never know. And the reason we'll never know is because Russia lies. Russia lies about absolutely everything, and they have no regard for their own forces. Here's an article from Newsweek. Russia is counting killed soldiers as missing in order to hide their true losses. So the Russian military is allegedly counting killed soldiers in Ukraine as missing to hide the true number of combat losses. The Security Service of Ukraine said it has intercepted phone calls between Russian soldiers who admitted to covering up losses and hiding dead bodies in massive dumps across the country. Russia has suffered significant military losses since the war began in February, including the deaths of at least 12 top generals. So, of course, Ukraine and Western intelligence is intercepting all of these phone calls between Russian soldiers and their mothers, their wives, their girlfriends, because none of them are encrypted. So here is the phone conversation put out by SBU. We'll just watch a couple seconds of this together.
So, do we believe anything we hear? I don't think so. You should go to your gut. But you really should know that. So here it is, 16th, and I have the 18th in 2 days. It shows up. I will have been doing the YouTube for 4 years, right? First year, I just kind of responded to what was going on at the time. But for the last 3 years, I've been going on about the big splat, the rebranding, the bringing forth of the New World Order, which has been around forever. But we are going to be administered into it, and it'll be interesting to see what happens. Whether we need a full-on nuclear war to break down the sociological dynamic of present and to bring forth a prison planet, which we already exist in. The only truth is love's co-creation. The only thing that's real is love's essence. Everything else is illusion. The material world, it's an illusion. Right? Yep. But you got to move around.
You sit too long. It's
Well, every 20 minutes I got to get up and move around, or
no
I
ice or ice.
start to rust. So, are you girls Boone girls or are you visitors?
We're Boone girls. How about yourself?
Oh, I'm a Boone girl. Yes.
I like that.
Yep. It's fun.
Hanging out?
Oh, this is my office.
Okay, I like it.
You know, this
I
is
use it as my office too.
right. It's I call it the elevator room. It's a kind of it's almost the size of a big elevator. It
Yeah.
definitely has elevator music.
I got bummed out during COVID when they shut it down. You could go in here. I
Oh,
used to have to sit outside.
well, it's not bad if it's not raining or
Yeah.
terribly hot or any of the above. So, did you guys grow up here?
Actually, didn't go up here, but I've been here 14 years.
So you're a belonger.
Actually,
Well, yeah.
You went to college here?
Yeah.
What'd you study?
Nutrition.
You were a nutritionist?
Do as I say, not as I do.
Of course. That's the American way.
No, I'm a golf pro.
But hey, that goes right along there.
Yeah.
At degree, you know, nutritionist / golf pro.
Yeah.
So do you still hit the ball or do you just advertise?
I hit the ball a little bit, but I coach now, so I watch people hit the ball a lot.
Coach, like in the school here?
Yeah.
I went to a prep school for the richest people on earth.
Okay, where? Tell me where, and I'll try to guess it.
Right on the border of Massachusetts and New Hampshire.
You went to Hotchkiss. No.
Well, no. It's
Andover.
no, that's middle management.
Oh, you
I'm talking about the richest people.
Taft was for the richest.
No. The Winchington School for Boys in Winchington, Massachusetts.
Washington.
Toy Town, right? You can see Mount Washington
Yeah.
right there, right?
Okay.
And it was built right on Toy Town Tavern golf course.
Okay.
So we all had to learn golf. Oh, I'm from everywhere. I'm a what is known as a itinerant scholar.
I feel like you probably walked the Appalachian Trail.
I live there.
You lived
I did an ethnography on the folk who were there
Yeah.
for Homeland Security.
Did you ever climb Mount Washington too?
Oh yeah, when I was young.
Yeah.
I'm in my 70s. I couldn't do that now, but I still get around.
So what do you do in your office?
Oh, I talk to people on YouTube and see what's going on. I used to get paid really well to figure out what's going on, but I died, and in the 7 years it took me to crawl back up to this, I was replaced by an app,
Well,
and it's not as I was, but they don't want that.
but maybe it was a gift that you can just.
Oh yeah. There's I've done so many different. The only two things I haven't done is held elected office, and
Why would you want to do that?
well, the two things I haven't done, brain surgery, and elected office, are just too messy. Too messy. Everything else I can handle. So let's see your palm. The hand you write with. Perfect. So you're honest as day is long. You're pretty. Because you can get nasty in real quick.
I have a long fuse, but when I close.
Baby, watch out. A little bit more so I can see. Yeah, perfect. Deja vu. Flatten it out again. Perfect. So your amounts of prosperity are pretty good. You kind of think with your heart, and you kind of feel with your head. So that's when you're at your optimum. When you're thinking with when someone says something mean to you, instead of like going like this, if you go, much better, right? So you do that a good deal, but man, if someone pushes those buttons, that's a different story. Let's see this side of your hand. A lot smarter than people give you credit for. and see a lot of you've gone through a lot of crap. So why you're a good coach is that you have experienced a lot of the emotional downside to life, and so you can empathize rather than trying to push them. You empathize.
Nice. All right. I would say you were pretty accurate.
Pretty.
Is
Yes.
that what an app does now?
Hmm?
Is that what you did and now an app does?
No, I basically live on my $400 a month from Social Security, and I do have a nice little chunk up the middle of the woods off of 321 between here and Johnson City, which I bought 20 years ago. And I used to lecture here and at ETSU
Oh, okay.
back in the day. But like I said, I died in 2014 of a plate of spaghetti. After living the corporate life for about 14 years, I was about that big. You ever see the Monty Python movie Meaning to Life?
Yeah, Meaning to Life.
Yes, and Mr. Creosote. I was bigger. I was bigger than he was. Yes, yes, exactly. Then he eats that last little bit and it blows up.
Then look at
Yes, and ba-boom. And parts of him fly through the dining room and land on people's body, and they just keep eating. And that was the life of the desperate corporate lawyers. That's all they lived for. It's their cocktails and so I went
where were you working corporate?
everywhere.
What was your last major city?
Miami. I mean, they were so desperate lawyers. They were negotiating corporate deals, and most of those people are so rich they're too stupid to breathe. And they would get to a place where, in the next month they had to get everyone across the party line, and it didn't look like it was. And those lawyers were out like $600 grand in time, and wasn't looking good. So they'd call me in,
Gotcha.
and I could read people all the way down to the nitty gritty. And I would put a little ball camera over everyone, and I would, big luxurious boardroom. I take it out, and I make them sit in wobbly. I send somebody from the office down to buy really crappy metal folding chairs and TV dinner tables, and I would have this big table of lox and bagels and cappuccino, which all they could have, right? I'd send my protege out to get a thing of water from a mud puddle. That's all they could drink. And I would get the cups from the Dollar Tree that when you put water in, you grab like that, they break on the side. So they wouldn't drink it. It would go over them. Then they'd have to be sitting in a chair. And I had the key to the door. So I gave them this little list of things to do before they came in the first day. One was to go to the bathroom, not have a meal, and get ready not to leave until 9 p.m. And I treated them like Sister Holy Roller Skate treated most people. And that's how I broke them. And every time they get upset, I just hit the little button on my laptop that would record them scream. And every time they get upset, I just keep big TV set. I just keep playing it over and over and over and over and over. Okay, I'll stop. But that's what I did for
Oh, wow.
15 years and got paid really good for that, torturing the rich.
That was the unmilitary way of breaking something. Corporate.
In corporate way. Yep. And I would always walk in looking like a homeless guy. And I had two pit bulls on either side of me. And it's like we all were listening to Moby. And I would have the lawyers, because they spent half their life in the titty bar, go get two girls from there who would be my assistants dressed as titty bar girls who would just sit on either side of me. And that's how I broke.
I didn't know what you were trying to break them off. What were you trying to break them
All I
off?
wanted them to do was to sign the contract.
Uh,
So I wanted them to break their ego.
and what was the contract you about?
Oh, large corporation being bought out. These were the original family folk. And so they hated each other. And so even though they were going to make 60, 80 million, however much, they wanted to make the other people feel their wrath. And the clock was ticking, and I had maybe 2 weeks. Most people couldn't stand that for 3 days, who were really rich, who thought the world revolved around them. And one time, when they were all Catholic, I actually went in there dressed as a nun. I mean, my theatrical side came out, right? Because the other side of me, I'm just a scholar.
We all dressed as a nun at one point in time.
Yes, 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 yes. Even our fathers dressed as nuns. Yep. It's like everyone who's white has been in blackface at some time. That's why politicians are easily pegged. And basically, humanity is just Mr. Potato Head. I mean, there's only 5 of this, 5 of this, and 5 of this. And then there's only 60.
Yeah, we didn't worry when we were growing up. What we dressed as or how we
Or ever.
We weren't that easily offended.
No. We had to be programmed. But now with social media, it's so much easier to program people.
Well, I mean,
And I've been,
that's the disconnect.
but it isn't. I mean, we've had disconnects all through time, and nothing really changes. It's all the same. It's just the outcomes that get more horrific, and everyone gets played. There is no such thing as a good war. Never has been.
What do you think is a good way to get people? I mean, are you in tune with the young kids of today?
They're the same as the young kids when we were
But
kids.
they're worse.
No. That is just our prejudice.
No.
No, the numbers at the bottom of the page.
Okay, so
shows.
then how would you?
They're not worse. I'd say they're different.
Yeah, there you go.
Experiences. Not anything we can relate
Exactly. They're not worse. They're just different. Just like we were different from our parents.
Yeah, we didn't have patience because we couldn't have things
How-
immediately. They don't know anything.
How?
Right?
Oh, well, we had things more immediate than our parents did. And I would say it's almost equivalent with
Yeah.
each generation.
So how do we teach them to take ownership and have a sense of proprietorship?
There's only 2 ways. Well, really, only the real conflict is between conditional love and unconditional love. Conditional love is I want what I want when I want it. Unconditional love is I want everyone to feel the kind of love I feel. I'm going to share it with you. And I'm not charging you for it. Blah blah blah. Right? So those are the power structure that has been the same.
Yeah, I think it's even worse now.
Well, it is only because it is.
It's easier to know. About.
Yes, you can see it clearly. Back in the day, things took centuries to come
Yeah.
right. Ours happens like this, and if the sad fact is, scientific fact is that goldfish have a longer attention span than human beings. Ours is 9 seconds. Goldfish is 11.
I believe that.
Yep.
Kind of like, oh, squirrel.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Unless, and the tool. So that's the big issue: conditional love, unconditional. The tool. If you want kids, so you are educators. You both are educators.
Well, yeah. I mean, I've coached before too. so-
Right. Well, that's educating. I mean, my
Yeah.
best teachers have been
It
my
is.
coaches.
I don't know if I always, as I look back now, was I really teaching the right things?
Right. Well, that's a different story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you look at something when you're in your 20s and you're teaching?
It doesn't matter. I had
in
it.
your like 50s or 60s.
My greatest coach was my swimming coach. I mean, I wasn't really an athletic kid. I was okay, but I was Mr. Science and blowing things up, and I was given time to do that.
Every guy is Mr. Science.
No. Maybe 10%. And what's truly scary and disappointing is that women, girls, are Mr. Science by 90% until they get into 5th grade. And they ask the smart question, and the teacher, who's stupid, goes, "That's a stupid question." Science goes out the window. They go, but women are far superior when it comes to, look at Madame Curie, come on. And so my best coach was my swimming coach, Jewish guy, 98 years old, and he was in the 36 Olympics in Berlin, and he's Jewish,
Wow.
right? And he was so good at the board, the platform diving. And so he did that, and his roommate was Jesse Owens. They were the 2 people who were
Outcast.
The total outcast. You know, like when they're at the Olympic Village and everyone's sitting at the restaurant, their table is like in the parking lot. Yeah. Well, that's part of the restaurant. And my coach dropped his fork, and when he leaned down, a explosion happened on this concrete wall, and he got up. And if he hadn't dropped his fork, that bullet would have gone through his head and splattered it on the. And no echo, no total silencer, and he got 3 gold medals.
Wow.
So that was my coach. So he didn't tell us any of that, but when we all walked in, he's like at the top of the 7-meter board, and he goes, "Hi, I'm your coach, Buttrick. I'll be right down." And he just steps off and goes into the water without making a ripple. Then he swims back and forth 3 times in the Olympic swimming pool and gets out where the steps are. And he just kind of like dance. He's 98 years old. We're all like, so he was my first grade coach. And swimming's a great sport because it's really team, but you do your best. Because second and third are almost as important as first because the points go together, right? So anyway, so I don't care if we win a thing. You do your best. I will go nuts, but that's all I'm looking for. So he taught me how to do your best. Not be excellent, not be, but do your best. Not try, do. Right? My other coach was my lacrosse coach. We played all those schools you said, but we were just teeny. We only had 160 kids in our school. There aren't that many richest kids in the world. I wasn't. I was just put there because of certain reasons. But anyway, said, we're never going to win. Pretty good at playing lacrosse. And he said, "This is what we're going to do. We're going to break their will." Well, first they're going to be like, we're going to go out there with sunglasses, and I'm going to roll up oregano and cigarette paper, and you're all going to be out there lying on the ground with sunglasses, smoking these hand-rolled cigarettes that smell like marijuana, but they're oregano, right? So then we had there's this boy I know, he's from Philly, he's going to teach you how to talk smack. So and lacrosse is like soccer, it's defense, attack, right? Like midfielders. And so midfielders and defense can't go over their lines, right? So you're standing there next to the other guy. So unless it's around you, you're just standing there. So your mother, so we learned how to talk smack until the guy would get so upset, he'd start hitting us with his stick. But we had helmets and shoulder pads, and, it's not going to hurt me. But he'd get thrown out of the game. We do that to everyone to the point where the only person on the other side of the team was the goalie. It's pretty easy to win 57. But when you're a little school that only has 15 guys on the lacrosse team, you play Andover that has 120, and you decimate them.
Yes.
It's no. It's because we're supposed to be like prep school, and we're not screaming at them. We're just standing next to them going, whang! Right?
Talk smack.
Yeah, so we got smacked. So it was okay. But no prep school would play us after our, by the time we were juniors, nobody played us. So we played college. So we creamed them, right? We were at Amherst, right? And the Amherst team wouldn't show up. They were scared of us. I mean, they had 120 big, beefy guys, almost 20 years old, and we're like these little teenage kids. The girls came over and said, "Hey, you want to play us?" And we said, "Sure." Well, these, we got pads and helmets and gloves. They have like gloves that are like the kind of gloves you wear when you're doing gardening. They have no padding. They just have little goggles with that big hard ball hit somebody eyeball, it didn't pop their eyeball out.
The women's game is totally different.
It's the same game. They were just superior to us. And they didn't.
Well, but I mean, you can't like physically pound on someone because they don't have.
They killed us. So I'm standing there trying to talk smack, and the girl has this big, long defense stick. She just hits me in the nuts like that. And I'm like, on the ground, had to carry me off, and I did not catch my breath until that's how they got rid of us. And And then afterwards, they invited us back to their sorority for dinner. We never showed up back to school for like the rest of the weekend. So, no, that's why I learned the superior of women. My question, so as a scholar, I've studied this for many a long year. Women ruled up until about 16,000 years ago, up until Mesopotamia. Why do they give up? I mean, even in the Greek states, the Syracuse and Seneca and the other S1, who were the big bad guys, the 300, women ruled.
You got soft.
Yeah, I think you just you think, it's gonna, oh, sure, and then have been basically back behind their back the rest of the time. Time for girls to, and not be boys. Women who get involved in politics have to pretend they're guys. No, it's like, please. But why I got so big, why I did the corporate thing, they paid me ridiculous amounts of money, and the lifestyle was ridiculous. But I was like that big. I was almost 460 pounds.
They pretty much own me the whole time to do it.
Please, no one owns me. I mean, I did what they wanted me to do, but my own, titty bar girls looking like homeless guy, killer dogs.
If someone's giving you a lot of money, they're not gonna tell you.
Well, they got it. I got everyone to sign it, and a videotape that they could use to blackmail later. They got, and I was happy to do it. Destroy the rich people as much as I could, but it doesn't matter, because the only one thing that truly really exists is love's co-creation. That's it.
It's what?
Love's co-creation.
Love's
Co-creation. So girls, get out your little phones and look up Dreamy Dreamland with Sensei Al Ba. That's my YouTube show. Dreamy Dreamland with Sensei Al Ba.
And then, what was it?
Co-creation. And the only issue humanity has to deal with is understanding conditional love and unconditional love. And the two tools, and all of these things are really good for your teams.
I'm already taking notes.
Yes. So the two tools, conscious intent, I am. Conscious intent, and you should have your team sit there, get as relaxed as possible, sitting, not lying down, because you'll fall asleep. You go, conscious intent, I am. Conscious intent, I am. Conscious intent, I am. Oh, and you do that, your whole team. The power is unbelievable, right? And it will cement that team spirit. And
When you're seeing that,
you visualize you are this solid, unbeatable team of what's your sport? Golf. Again, that's a great sport because it's a team sport, but it's individual, right? And it's just like swimming. The seconds and thirds are as important as the other, right? So conscious intent, I am, and that's when everyone will work together. The ones who are really great will come and help the ones who need, so you don't have to teach them.
just by saying that over and over
Yep, that's it. And conscious intent, I am. And that conscious intent, I am, is to go out and do your best. Not be perfect, your best. Not try, do. Do your best. That's all you ask of them. Do your best.
So, but as a coach, I'm going to get after it. If they're not doing it. Is that going to antagonize it?
No, you just have to lead by example. So Coach Coachman never yelled at us, never went, he just led by example. And the first time we ever met him, up to 7 meters, into the water like a knife and then swim back and forth. That's all he had to do. He never, ever had to say, you got to be a, no, that was like, that first image was all that it took, right? So your thing is that. So that's one tool, conscious intent, I am. The other thing they need to know is their conscious awareness, I am. Conscious awareness, I am. And this is very good for golf. So what is awareness? Awareness is knowing you're 20 and you're 360. So if you're a trucker, guy in the CB, hey, good buddy, what's your 20? Meaning, where are you right now? Right here, right now. What's your 20? That's your 20. Not over there, I'm kind of here. Where you are right now, right? So in golf, that's it, man. What's your 20? It's like where the ball has lied, how you're going to hit it, that's your 20. 360 is everything around you, right? And there's two elements of the 360. The physical representation of your 360. So you're out on the golf course, and there's the trees, the sand traps, knowing that is your 360. The other 360 is when you are dealing with people, like your opponent. He's your three. So there's the guy coming at you over there. So you need to be over here so they can't get you. So that means every time you step on that ball, you've got to know you're 20, right, and you're 360, all that, and that you are putting yourself in a better position from your opponent. And all of these are head things, right? And if your head isn't in the right, why did Tiger Woods be, one of the greatest golfers in the world? 99% his head. Not so much his body. He's just your basic average guy. He's been playing golf though since he's like born, so he's got a lot of muscle memory. But other than that, it's all. So that's. And if you want to hire me, and I can put your team in the most amazing mental state, go look for my email, which is thedudeawake42@gmail. The Dude Awake 42@gmail.
Dude
Awake42@gmail. Right. So that's the YouTube is Dreamy Dreamland with Sensei Alba. And, my email is the Dude Awake. Let's see if I have a card. But I years ago,
So where'd you go to college?
You name it, I went there. I got paid for 30 years to go to college. Paid to go to school. So Cornell, Duke, Chapel Hill, Hofstra, Juilliard, the place in DC, Trinity in Dublin.
Wow.
That's just a place to say. And I got a lot of degrees where I'd be developing a protocol. That's one of my better things I do. And my boss said, you're going to have to go in front of all these congressional people and explain what we're doing. And they're going to ask, what's your authority? And you've been to all these schools, you have no degree. So here is this degree. And because he was head of a department, he just opened the door and just started giving me degrees and putting them on. So that's about how valid degrees are.
Yeah.
Right? Because they just reference your capabilities, and my capabilities were from experience rather than, and in Latin, that's what education is. It's to understand through experience. That's the
Degree of hard knocks is better than
yes, and only if you learn from those hard knocks.
Yeah.
A lot of people, I would say 89% of the public just continues to do the same hard knock over and over and over and over and over.
Yeah.
So what's your astrological sign? Did I ask you that?
Virgo.
Virgo, yes. So you're always right. What you need to realize is that you are always right. It's not that you feel that you're always right, but you have to realize that the majority of everybody else is right about 3% of the time. You're way up here. The average folk are down here. This is what pisses you off. Dealing with the freaking morons. Not your problem or theirs. You just have to, and you have to lead by example through your excellence. And not like wear it on your sleeve. Just be it. Be present. Yes. Not like, oh, look at me. No. I mean, you got to where you are because you are who you are. You don't have to prove it anymore. So there you go. So Virgo's tough sign because they always have to prove they're freaking right. Now, that makes your life freaking miserable.
I don't feel like
Well, then you're an evolved one, If you're not doing that, you're an evolved Virgo. And they're not too many.
I feel like my Virgo traits are fastidious,
Right.
clean,
right.
clean.
Well, beyond clean, everything has to be where it's supposed to be. And that's beyond clean. I mean, I'm clean, but
I got you.
All right, well,
you got to go.
Do you come here often?
Yeah, this is my office. Yeah.
Okay, well, I hope I see you again.
Yeah, like between, 12 and 3.
Okay.
You know? Oh my, you got to get up and move. I weighed almost 460 pounds. Now I'm 2'3".
How did you lose the weight?
7 years of not being able to afford to eat anything and eat everything out of the woods. Pretty much. My food stamps, they used to give me $200. They have cut it down to $48. Yes. It's
You're
like,
gonna lose some seed off that.
yes. So I do. I mean, I'm surrounded by daisies, and they are probably one of the best things for your digestive tract. So every morning, I get up, and there's pop it in my mouth. I chew on about 10 to 20 of those every day.
Daisies?
Yep. And then, how daisies, they're green leaves below, or the spiky little things. They're in the same family as lettuce, but better for you.
Did you know you can eat hostas?
Yeah, yeah.
On the ground?
Yeah. You can basically eat anything. Basically, there's when it's baby, when it's and that's when you want to eat it because it's supple and sweet
Yeah.
and all this.
Almost like asparagus.
Yes, exactly. So there's a ton of stuff in the woods that is edible, but there's other. You got to know what not to.
Yeah.
What was your name?
Owl, like the bird.
Owl.
OWL.
Okay, Owl.
Owl Bob, really.
Owl.
Sensei Owl Bob.
Sensei. I got all your stuff.
Right.
Look it up, and
Yeah,
I
look
know
it up.
I'll see you again.
Yeah. And,
Thank you for your insight.
Yep. And you can, you email me is the way to go.
Okay.
Yep. And your name?
My name is Heather Brown.
Do you have a card, Heather?
I don't have it with me, but next time I come, I'll bring it.
Okay. How often do you have lunch here, Heather?
I come once or twice a week.
Yeah, me too.
So yeah. So we'll meet again.
Yeah,
I'll have your email.
Yep. And you got my email. Go check out my YouTubes. And
I look forward to it.
yes, I could really help how is your sports department doing? Well, not just your team, but
We can use a little help.
Right.
In that department.
you're right. And that's where it really comes from.
Yes.
And all of those teams need to be a team. The thing I look at college sports, the teams that really succeed are teams. The others are just individuals who are being stars.
I agree with that.
So I'm go tell your people I'm the guy who can help you out.
Okay, I will.
See you, Heather. So what'd you get for lunch, cowboy? Right? Don't want to get you while you're got your mouth full.
Delicious stuff.
From here?
Yeah.
Yeah, they make, I really like their soup. I'm a big fan of their soup.
I'm going to try this.
You should try it. I'm a soup guy. So I have no teeth, so eating a sandwich is problematic for me.
My brother's like that.
Yeah. Little do we know how much we are like our parents. My mom lost her teeth when she was in her 30s. Maybe like cottage cheese. Got her teeth. Such as life. But, you can gum pretty much anything. It's really amazing. I mean, you lose certain syllables and things like that, but otherwise, not so bad. So are you a Boone boy?
What?
Boone boy. Did you?
No, I just moved up here.
Oh, where'd you come from?
I'm from Wilkesboro.
Okay. North Carolina. You're kind of towards flat country.
I'm originally from Texas.
Oh, that's why the cowboy hat.
Then for the past 20 years, I was in Florida, but for the past 4 years, I've been up here in
Uh-huh.
Wilkesboro.
So, okay, which do you like better?
I miss Texas.
How come?
Childhood nostalgia.
Okay.
Um,
What part of Texas?
I grew up in a very small town called Crum. It's mostly all just farmland. And,
Where was that near?
the nearest biggest city was like Denver, but if like major city would be like southeast of like Dallas.
Okay. So you're kind of southern eastern.
Yeah. Yeah.
So which highway are you near?
I don't remember. I was so young when I was there. I think I left Texas when I was about 10 or 11.
Did you ride a horse?
I've ridden horses here. I mean, I'm not currently,
But I mean, as a kid.
yeah, we had a lot of horses. We had emu, rabbits, ducks, goats, pigs. I mean, we had dabbled in it all. And then my grandparents back then weren't doing too well with their health, so we moved to Florida
Mm-hmm.
to
What
be
part?
closer to them. Orlando,
Orlando.
and I lived in Orlando for 20 years, and then
Did you work
I
for
hate the
Disney?
city, so
Did you work for Disney?
Huh?
Did you work for Disney?
I never worked for Disney, but my mom and my brother both did. But I've been to Disney
Forever.
I've been over 1,000 times.
Right, right.
I
So-
lost count.
Where, right near Orlando, if you come into the center of the state of Florida, that is one of the most cowboy areas of America. There are more cows and guys riding horses with cowboy hats and cowboy boots.
It's like that around Lakeland.
Right. I mean, and it actually has more per capita than any place else. It's quite bizarre. They definitely have more pigs than anybody else. So, kind of off the hook, the pigs. Yeah, Florida's nice. I lived there a lot, but
I'm more of a small town country guy.
I like Texas. What's the name of that town? Oh. It's named after that college in D.C., Georgetown. I like little towns like that. They're like semi-near big cities, but not really close
I
enough.
say I'm from Northborough, but I'm actually from Village Creek, which
Okay,
is
yeah,
a little town right next to it.
right. But all that area is getting so developed. It's one big mall, strip mall, supermarket, office building, cul-de-sac.
Like if you go from like Northborough to like West Jefferson,
Yeah,
and there is nice and cool.
yeah. So I used to, I went to school at Duke on Chapel Hill, and I was a newspaper photographer in High Point, North Carolina, 1968, when I was a young man. And High Point was quite an interesting town because it was like the furniture capital of the world. I mean, it really was. And all those factories were union. And so everybody who worked there were union guys, got paid the same thing. So that working floor was black and white, and men and women, right? Like in the 60s was that. And which quite interesting because since everyone got paid the same, everyone got along. And because of the business, they had taken care of everything. It was good health care for everybody through the work, right? It was good education for it because they wanted educated people to go work in those factories. So it was quite an interesting place. And I came from New York City. And after being there a year, I realized that New York City was actually more racist than the southern city. And that race had more to do with class and economics that had to do with skin color. I mean, that was just a stupid thing that made rich people
That's why
able
you
to.
watch the media right now. It's like everything's racist.
Well, who
It's
owns the
racist.
media but 7 corporate? When I worked in the media, right, when I was a newspaper photographer, there were 36,000 different owners of TV stations, radio stations, newspapers, magazines, right? Now there are six. And they're all those same people sit on each other's boards, right? It's really only one entity doing this. And there is no real difference between MSNBC and Fox. They do the same thing. They isolate the individual, put them in a container, and
I don't follow mainstream media. I follow like conservative
But buddy, there is no such thing. You know what conservative is? It means to conserve, to hold on to cherish, to nurture. That's we don't have that. We have rabid psychopaths.
Oh yeah, the world's topsy-turvy.
And liberals, I mean, I can't call myself a liberal. I can't because liberals are just people who feel guilty about being racist, right? And that's why they go so far, beyond.
I mean, there was always, liberals and conservatives, but now it's just,
Wacko.
a lot of them were, just libertarian, somewhere in the middle.
But even that,
But now both sides are just going further and further
until
apart. It's
people
like,
can realize they're part of the same community and care about each other, because their opinions are just theirs. Doesn't mean anything. It's like you got an asshole, so does everyone else. It's an opinion. That's all it is. It's not, and a belief is a prejudicial opinion.
yeah.
You believe so strongly in your opinion, they're going to kill someone.
I believe, strongly in my opinion, but I don't hate others for theirs.
Well, that's the ball.
Um,
Most people don't do that.
Yeah. It's like, I've lost friends who were liberals because they cut ties with me because they didn't believe in what I believe.
Right. But
Right.
you say, buddy, I don't care what you believe in. You're my friend. I care about you because who you are, not because of what you.
I had a friend
Say you
for
believe
15 years, and then once all this, media stuff
Right,
started
right.
happening, coronavirus and everything, and I took, my stance or whatever, and he took his, and he didn't appreciate my stance. And,
Well,
he
that's the
was
problem.
pro-abortion and-
All of this stuff is done on purpose, and I've been paid over the last 70 years to study that, not to have an opinion, but to study, right? And the interesting thing about, like abortion is a good example. That is a very poor version of birth control. No. Now, it shouldn't be made, criminal, but it should be cut down on. But the way they're going at it,
I definitely don't think it should be government.
right? Well, that's another story. But the bottom line is, what's going to occur is a good number of people are going to end up in jail for really not a criminal offense. People are going to go wacko and take this to the extreme of saying, as soon as sperm is inside a woman's vagina, whether that egg is fertilized or not, that's like condoms will be made. You'll get 3 years in jail if you have a pack of condoms in your pocket, right? The other thing is that with the real consideration of this, they're going to be dumping 2 million babies on the street every year, coming from communities of people who can't afford to take care of them. Will their church take care of them? No. Will their state that has made it a criminal that they can't have an abortion take care of them? No. You hear what I'm saying? Until people can come together as a community and take care of everybody. I mean, we have the worst health care in all of the developed nation, and we spend more on it than anybody else. Right? In our country, women have a higher rate of death from carrying to term than anywhere except in the lower part of the third world. There are places in the third world that do better statistically than we do.
I got you.
So where do you work?
What
What do you do?
I'm actually about to go to a job interview right now.
Oh, for what?
Chick-fil-A, I think it is.
Okay.
I just moved up here a couple of days ago, so I'm trying to figure out something.
Right. So all you have to do is focus your mind and say, conscious intent I am. My conscious intent is to get that job. So when you're driving over there, conscious intent I am. Conscious intent I am. And that takes up for every step you take. Once you turn around, your conscious intent is every step. I'm going to get that job. Get in your car. Conscious intent. I'm going to drive to the job safely, not get into any car crashes, and I'm going to get that job. You say that all the way up there, you'll have that job. Conscious intent. Got it?
Yeah, we're going.
Always, buddy. So that's what I do here in the elevator office. There's 4 of you there. 1 thumbs up. Hey, can someone chat something here? Because it doesn't seem right and I don't see any chats. Just say, hey, here I am. And so there's 4 of you there. So you got a nice, I mean, that's the best chat since you're not chatting to me. I'm reaching out amongst everyone here in the dining room of the elevator music room. Anyway, what time is it? 3:20. Okay. Been on, oh, look at that, 50 minutes and 50 seconds. So anybody got a question? Can anyone throw anything up on the chat? I guess I have to look more closely at when I have things set up for. Well, tomorrow I should be able to say hi to you guys. I'll check in with you. Okay? Okay. I may pop up on the chat a little later this afternoon. I'm going over to my some errands run, and then I'm going to go over to my alien internet guru and try to set things right. Okay, I love you guys. You know, throw something on my PayPal. I sure could use it. Okay, remember the dudewake42 @gmail.com.